I was just trying to mentally prep for this because, like, bro, I really don't want to do this. Like, this is so weird. I don't like taking this aspect of what's been going on public, but good to see everybody. I got some snacks, so sorry if you guys can hear me chewing. It's sour gushers. So now I learned my lesson from my old collabs where I would eat chips, and you guys would hear the bag going crinkle cronkle. This time I dumped them out of the bag and onto a plate, so you won't hear that, but you might hear me going like munch. And there's that Sprite opening out of the way. But so I don't even know where to start with this, but I made a tweet about this, and one thing that I want to get out of the way, because some people were, expressing this sentiment or asking why I hadn't already done this. I have cut Seth off, and I actually did pretty much immediately after Klein uploaded his video, and I didn't really want to have any contact with him after this whole situation happened. The reason I'm making this stream right now is because so he told me one thing, and then I found out that he is up to something that seems at odds with what he said to me. He is currently working on a response video based on what I've gathered, and I'm only doing this stream and like announcement thing to get everything out in the open, be as transparent as possible, because I'm worried that he's going to lie about me, or like Clyde or whoever else was involved or whatever. So I had no intention of talking to Seth. Like I said, after this whole Keemstar, like Clyde video thing, like my last interaction with Seth was supposed to be on that Keemstar stream, and that was going to be the end of it. But on like, I think it was like the 6th or something, he uploaded this, like, I think I heard that somebody said they were concerned about this a little bit in advance. I'm going to try to leave as many names out as possible, just, to, like, keep everything that, like, should stay private. But somebody, I think, had heard that he mentioned his plan was to do this. But he sent Clyde this, like, unlisted video where the first half was, I guess it was what his response video was supposed to be. And he was all like, yeah, I'm sorry, Clyde. This isn't about, like, coming after you, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, halfway through, it just kind of abruptly transitioned into this really dark, dour suicide note. And at first I was like, okay, so I was kind of 50-50 about whether or not I should take this seriously because of, a lot of the allegations that have cropped up throughout the situation have had to do with, like, gaslighting and manipulation and stuff, right? And I was like, is Seth being serious or what? But then I found out from somebody that had been speaking pretty regularly with Seth that he had completely disappeared since the night that he uploaded that video. I also got... I got to listen to the video because Clyde was worried and he sent it to me and wanted to know what he should do, but I got it a day late because he wanted to sit on it. No, sorry, no, it wasn't Clyde who sent me the video. It was Omar, my bad. Sorry. But Omar sent me the video because he was like really worried, and he was like, yeah, so I mean, like, one thing I want to make clear though, by the way, is like all of us were really concerned because like Clyde called the police and stuff, because like Seth gave his like address and shit, he, like his like full name and stuff in the unlisted video, right? And so Clyde called the police. This other guy that I mentioned earlier who was talking to Seth called the police. And then when I got a hold of the video, I listened to it and I was like, oh shit. So I called the police, 'cause, like, I listened to it at like 3 a.m, and I couldn't get in touch with the emergency line, right? And I was under the impression that the police had already been called for wellness checks. So I was like, okay, it should be good. But it started eating away at me in the morning when I heard. So I called the non-emergency line of the city that Seth lives in, because I couldn't call 911 because it would like route me to my local police, and I had to wait for like 30 minutes because, again, it's like the non-emergency emergency line. And then I gave them the address, told them to do a wellness check, all that. And they were just like, okay, I didn't hear anything else about it. Nobody heard anything else about it for a while. And then I called again. So the first call that I placed was on the 8th. Then I called again on the 10th. I was like, but I didn't call the police. I called this like mental health branch of like it was this like indie organization that specialized in like mental health and suicide. And I was like actually really stressed because I didn't like Seth, but I didn't want him to like commit suicide, right? And I was like, oh my God, I don't want this to be like, I didn't want this weighing on my conscience. I was just like, bro, like I gotta do something, you know? So I like, and I mean, I would have reached out to him, but like, so like I was under the, like Six and I both saw his account had like this little exclamation point dot on it. And he also changed the picture to like Noble Six with a bullet through the visor from Halo Reach, I guess, to like make it clear that he was like dead or whatever. Like in the video that Clyde saw that was like addressed to Clyde, he said another reason, by the way, that Omar got his hands on it was because there was some stuff directed at Omar, right? But the video is mostly for Clyde and Omar. And I want to say, sorry, I know I'm being scatterbrained. I'm just trying to cover everything here. The first half did seem genuinely a little bit apologetic. Like, he was kind of, like, you know, narcissistic and defensive on some things. But generally, I was like, okay, fine, he's sorry, right? But I don't even remember what I was talking about. I'll go back to, so like regardless, we were all really worried, and so like I called the police, not the police, I called this like indie organization that specialized in mental health, and like it was basically like an independent suicide hotline. They got me in touch with the police, right, and like put me on a conference call and all that. And I didn't record the whole thing, but I recorded the tail end where I asked how the wellness check was going. And again, this happened on the 10th. And I found out that they had carried out 4 different checks from 4 different calls. One was from me, one was from Clyde, one was from the person that Seth was talking to before the video went live, and one was from somebody who has been closely in touch with Seth the entire time. And they said that they made contact with him every time on the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. And had no reason to believe that he needed any assistance or needed to be placed under any sort of like supervision or whatever. And I was just like, okay. And I was really mad, but I was just like, please do another one for me, I guess. And then I hung up, and I didn't expect to hear back from them because I didn't hear back from them on any of the other ones. But I mean, I was really relieved, but I was mad because I was like, okay, I guess Seth just like lie. I mean, he hadn't spoken to me yet at this point. Oh, right. What I was talking about earlier, why I didn't reach out to him was because I was like, is he like dead? I mean, like his account seems inactive, and everybody that I spoke to said they hadn't heard from him in a while, right? So fast forward 2 days. One of my friends who I told to send a friend request to the account to make sure that it was like still intact, randomly got his request accepted, and Seth started talking like, hey, what do you need? And he wasn't expecting like to get a response. He was just like, oh, my friend, it's Swag, you know, he told me to check up on you. And then basically it got to Seth asking questions about me, and him being like, I don't know. He was like, yeah, does Swag like still really hate me? And this is where like some of the like behavior that pissed me off started to come from. He was like, cause you know, a lot of my behavior was like a result of trauma and like mental illness and stuff. It's just like, it's one thing to put that as like, you know, like a silver lining in an apology or whatever, you know, like, oh yeah, it was something that I wasn't aware of. It was based on this issue that I didn't know I had, but now that I'm aware of it, I can work through it. But he was just kind of using it as like a get out of jail free card, like hand waving away all of the stuff that he had done, right? But so my friend didn't know how to answer, so I was like, just tell Seth to add me, I guess. And I started talking to him. And like he immediately, I mean, at first it was just pleasant, but then like he immediately like pressed me out over the thing that I said on the Keem stream where he tried to say that I was a liar. I don't know how many of you guys listened to it, but it was when I said that the explanation that he was giving to Pat God and Keem about him talking to the underage girl wasn't the same explanation he gave me. When I first heard about this, he told me that the person in the screenshots wasn't him. And he was like, yeah, you were lying because... so the reason for the confusion is because he did this stream where he had this like Discord stage, and he went over a bunch of the allegations from the same doc that Pac and Keem got their hands on. And there were a bunch of people on the stage and a bunch of people not on the stage. Now, I wasn't there for the majority of the stream, but I joined the Discord call for like 5 minutes to listen. I told Seth, hey, throw me up on the Discord stage there. He didn't respond. The only reason I really wanted to be involved was just because, you know, I was like, I kind of want attention, you know, something exciting is going on. Like, let me get involved. But then I left, right? And I was trying to tell him that on the Keem stream. I was just like, because at first I didn't remember everything that had happened, and I was going through the whole video, right? And I was just like, yeah, I don't see myself. You keep saying I'm in this video, but I don't see it. Then I heard from some other people that he talked to them about it a little bit more. He also showed some like screenshots from our conversation in the video that he sent to Clyde, and I was like, oh yeah, now I remember this. I was there for a little bit and then disappeared. Our DMs from that point in time like kind of prove it, because he didn't see, but then at the end of the stream he responded to me and he was like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you. And I didn't get back to him until like 11 p.m. because I was off Discord like by the time the stream ended, right? I was going to hang out with like Alyssa or friends or something, whatever. And so now the reason this is relevant is because we started talking, and the reason we started talking was because I was concerned about his well-being, because he was talking about committing suicide, and he made it clear to me from the beginning in that conversation that he was talking about committing suicide. And then he started using this really weird like manipulative language, like you know, but at least you guys won't have to worry about me anymore because I'll be gone, so you know, that's good. You got off scot-free, huh, Swag? And I was just like, what do you think this is? Okay, like, Seth, I feel like this goes without saying, but like, I don't want you dead, and that's not how I view it. Like, what I said to you on the Keem stream is genuinely what I remember happening. And he was just like, you know, what you did was wrong, or like, I'll remind you, I have a recording. He never sent me a recording, by the way. Maybe he does have it. Maybe he has something that contradicts what I said. I don't know. I could just be remembering it very, very incorrectly. But I'm like, as of right now, I'm very sure, because, you know, Troy said the same thing when I was in call with Six and Troy. It was like Troy brought it up, and I was like, yeah, like all my neurons started firing. I was like, I remembered the exact same shit. Seth being like, that wasn't me. Maybe it was a different situation. Maybe the same dot got brought up multiple times. I don't know. But the point is, he was trying to get me on this, and like it was just like, I was just like, so what's like your goal here, right? And by this point I had spoken to some other people who had spoken to him, and they started to get the impression that he was expressing remorse, and he was just like, yeah, I want to be able to patch this up, and I want to be able to talk with Clyde and stuff. But he would like sprinkle in little bits of like, I shouldn't say sprinkle in. No, his primary fixation was like, my reputation's fucked. How do I fix it? I don't know what to do. This is fucked up. I want to be able to come back from these allegations. And before any of this suicide shit started, I'm not going to name them. I don't know if they want this to be known that they told me this. But Seth went to a very prominent YouTuber that he doesn't really know super well. You guys probably know of this person. I'm not going to say who they are. They weren't really directly involved with the situation, and he was just like, yeah, I found some stuff that might clear my name. Hey, can you vouch for me? And the person was just like, what are you talking about? Seth was like, there's no coming back from this. Vouching for you won't do anything, that type of thing, right? So like, even very early, like more than a week ago, his primary concern wasn't, I need to become a better person. I need to improve so I don't hurt people again. His primary concern was, I need to fight these allegations, make these allegations seem not credible, get people on my side so that I have a fighting chance to restore my image and career. And it became more and more apparent the more people talked to him. Okay, and so at first when he uploaded that video, it was like him saying, yeah, I need to talk to you, Clyde, because I just want to patch things up. And I thought Clyde was being really, really, really paranoid when he said this to me. But what Clyde said was that he thinks that that is a gaslighting tactic, or he thought, I should say, because, you know, past tense, that was a gaslighting tactic on Seth's part to try and get them to call so that Seth could like clip Clyde or press Clyde on something that he didn't remember properly, get him to like slip up or say something or whatever that would make Seth look good, put it in a response video. And I was just like, I don't know, that seems like really out there and weird, Clyde. But as I started to talk to more people, because, and here's the thing, we weren't talking, like, I wasn't talking to these people for the express purpose of like shitting on Seth or like fighting back against him or, keep, like, I was concerned that this guy was going to die. I was really worried about his like physical and mental well being. I was like, look, this is a lot to go through. Like we were all like, we want to see what we can do to help him. And as I started like talking to these people more and more, I heard more things that he said to them that kind of sounded like, wait, okay, so he might actually only want to talk to Clyde for, like, Clyde might have been right, you know? And so then as I start, speaking to Seth, we go like back and forth, and like I let him know, I'm like, dude, like I don't want you to kill yourself, but like I don't even know why you want to talk to me. And this is what I told him, right? I told him like, so I'm not sure why you let me actually back up for a second, because the reason I said this to him was because despite what he told my friend, which was that he was like, oh, does Swag really hate me? I hope he knows that all that behavior was trauma based, right? Like he really cared about my opinion of him. He came to me, he was like, the only reason I added you was because you seemed concerned about what was going on, right? Like he was like putting himself above me or something like that. Like, oh, I don't really care, I don't need to talk to you. And I was just like, okay, well, that's not what you said to my friend. And he like flipped out on me. He was like, stop this villainization shit, Swag. What do you mean? Are you saying that I'm lying or whatever? I was like, that's not necessarily what I'm saying. It's just that it's like weird because like these two things mean different things. And I mean, the main reason why it sticks out to me is because like based on everything I heard from Clyde and all these other people and how you talk to me on the Keem stream, I'm under the impression that like you don't like me. You've always hated me. Like since we've known each other, you've hated me. Multiple people have told me this. Tons of people have told me that Seth has always hated me, like from like Clyde to Noodles to Parrot to even people who don't even have any ball or like horse in this race. Sorry, like people from Seth's server who I've spoken to in the past have said stuff like, "Yeah, Seth always hated you, right?" And I was just like, "Why would my opinion matter to you? Like, why do you even want to talk to me?" Like I was saying this from like a place of like, what can I do to help you? Because like I don't know what I'm supposed to say to make you feel better, because I think that you're just gonna think that I'm stupid or that I don't know what I'm talking about, or just like dismiss it as like, yeah, Swag's just like childish and dumb and naive and blah blah blah, right? And then he like, fuck, it made me so mad. It was like this like manipulative like, fuck, you're so stupid, bro. You matter to me so much, or like type of shit, right? And he was just like, look, man, like I literally couldn't help all of that negative stuff that I said about you. And I was just like, look, Seth, like you were expecting me to like make a huge leap of faith for you when like, why would I do that? Why would I believe that you were telling the truth and that you like, and so eventually the conversation progressed a little bit, and I didn't take I didn't really look at any of my Discord messages or whatever on, I think it would have been the 13th, the day before yesterday. Yeah, I was just kind of like really exhausted and tired, and like I just needed a break, and I wanted to hang out with Alyssa because like I had spent the beginning, or I guess like it was like a period of like 5 days before, like really, really worried that, somebody I knew was like going to commit suicide, and that like I was like, oh man, I'm going to feel partially responsible for it. And, he was alive, and I was just like, okay, I need like a minute, I'm just going to hang out. Like I wasn't trying to ghost him or whatever. I also didn't know that he messaged me. So then it was like yesterday where we kind of started talking, and it was off and on because it was Valentine's Day and I was trying to spend it with Alyssa. But so towards the end of the day, two things happened. First of all, this guy who was the guy that I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, the guy who was talking to Seth, he hit up Clyde, and then Clyde told me that Seth basically went full mask off when they called. And this guy had been recording these calls not to like necessarily like expose Seth or whatever, but because it was like a told me that Seth basically went full mask off when they called. And this guy had been recording these calls not to like necessarily like expose Seth or whatever, but because it was like a mental health crisis thing, and he figured. So what the police told me and what I believe they told him is, if there's another situation like this, call us again, right? Like at the end of our calls, that's basically what they said. And the only way that he was able to prove, or I think that Clyde was able to prove that anything was wrong in the first place, was by sending them the unlisted video. And so this guy had like this recording, and he sent it to Clyde to tell him to listen to it. And Seth is basically like just admitting in it that the only reason, because bro, he had been begging people. He told other people. There's another person, again, I'm not going to name names, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus here. There was another person who came to me, who came to the guy that had been talking to Seth, and like the first guy who called the police for his well-being. This person that's been very close to Seth came to multiple different people and was like, look, can you please get Seth to talk to Clyde? And Clyde obviously didn't want to talk to Seth, and they were really, really pushy. And in this recording, Seth said, he basically confirmed that the only reason he wanted to talk to Clyde was for what Clyde was worried about in the first place, which was like, getting him in a call, getting Clyde to, say something at odds with something he said in the past, or getting Clyde to like, maybe like asking him a weird loaded question, or like cutting up the clip. But basically, he was just like, I need Clyde to vouch for me. I'm not a pedophile. He knows I'm not a pedophile, which, by the way, Clyde's not even really the like root of all of the pedophile allegations. There was a little bit of that in the video, but most of that stuff came from Pac and Keem reading the doc on their stream, right? So, he was just like, yeah, I just need Clyde to vouch for me. And I asked the guy who recorded the clip. He said it's cool for me to play it, but it's like very, very, very blatant. Okay? And then later on that night, he started telling me, hey, Swag, are you free to call? I'm just really like depressed right now or whatever. Like, I need to call so that we can talk some things out. And I was like, okay. So by this point, I was starting to take what Clyde said a little bit more seriously. And I was just like, what do you want to call about? He was just like, nah, it's like, we should just call. And I was like, is it like complicated or what? And he was just like, yeah, a little bit. There's multiple different routes that we can take. And so after this, I found out that in that recording, Seth just randomly said, yeah, maybe I can just get somebody to vouch for me on my response video, like Swag or something. He never, ever mentioned me, like, going on. Oh, my bad. I just saw somebody. I haven't been looking at chat much. I just saw somebody say for me to stop eating. Okay, my bad. But I had never given him any sign that I wanted to, like, help him make, like, a rehabilitation or comeback video or whatever. And he also didn't tell me that that was what his plan was. So I think that he was going to try to get me in a call and be really slimy about it. And I brought this up to him. I was just like, so like, because he was just trying to be all nice and be like, yeah, I see you as a friend. And I was like, so do you actually see me as like a friend or a tool? Because I get the feeling that this is about some like rehabilitation shit and you want me to vouch for you. And like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do here. Like earlier, a few days ago, and I said that, like, I don't actually think you care about my opinion of you. This is what I had in mind. And he was just like, what do you mean? Like, use you for like survival, bro? Like, like, I mean, yeah, I want like my career back and I don't want to die and blah, blah. And so basically the implication was he was giving me an ultimatum of like, yeah, Swag, if you don't call me, I'm going to kill myself. And he said this in the recording too, basically. Like, he was just like, yeah, Clyde just has to vouch that I'm not a pedophile, and then it's all good. I get to live, I go get help, Clyde never has to hear from me again. And it's like, dude, like, that's when it all came together, and I was just like, okay, yeah, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Seth has been lying to all of us, ghosting people, constructing this like whole fucking like theater shit, using suicide as a weapon to try to get some of us, even if we didn't know, to help him like beat or deflect these allegations. And I was just like, so I told him, I was just I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I was just like, look, bro, it looks like you're trying to take advantage of me. This is weird. And then I blocked him. And because he's currently in the process of making a response video, I figured I should probably go ahead, get ahead of that response video and put all of this out there so that everybody knows that the dude is like a complete, like, dude, he is psychotic. He's like completely gone off the deep end. You cannot take anything he says seriously. He will do or say anything to get what he wants. And it seems like he's so, he refuses to come to terms with the fact that there's consequences for all this shit that he did, right? Like, and like, I don't even know like what he expects to happen from this situation. Like, you know, like, okay, so say Clyde does get out there and just like say, yeah, Seth's not a pedophile. It's like, well, but you still, like, he still, sorry, just hit my mic, my bad, a little bit too, like, fucking razzled up right now, right? But like, Seth admitted on Keem's stream to soliciting or attempting to solicit nudes from a 16-year-old girl, right? Even if it was a joke, it doesn't matter. It's still an act of pedophilia, right? I think everybody in the chat agrees with that. And he's just, like, he's so concerned about all he's been talking about in all of these conversations. This isn't like, how do I make myself a better person? How do I improve? You know, how do I make it up to these people? It's, how do I come back from this? You know, how do I get my channel back to like its former glory, right? Like that's all he cares about. And it's just like, dude, he's a complete sociopath, right? Like, I feel like I'm so mad because I was genuinely stressed the fuck out those like first few days where I was worried he was dead. I was like, bro, I had this like hole in my chest, you know, like my heart had sunken into my stomach. I was like, man, I feel like dumb for taking it seriously because I had like I said earlier in the stream, I had a very, very, very like quiet voice in the back of my head telling me, hey, look, this whole suicide thing is just a stunt. He's just trying to manipulate you and other people. And I was like, look, I can't take that chance. And so, you know, I entertained everything that he was saying, and it's just like, fuck, bro. Let me see if I got this clip, just so you guys don't have to take my word for it, okay? Let me see. Like, Seth, like, starts this shit off, like, you know, if Clyde is worried about my life,
either that or Swag is going to have to come in and be like, yes, Seth knows what he's fucking talking about. Like, we collab, we do shit non-scripted. He's debated everyone. But, you know...
So there's an example of that, by the way, which, again, I never told him that I was cool with, like, doing, like, this... He was talking... Here, no, I'll play the whole thing. No, you know what? No, I don't have to. You know, just... He was talking about, like, having me go out and be like, yeah, you know, Seth does actually make some of his videos, because people have been like, yeah, he doesn't make his own videos, right? And it's like, I don't know. I've never seen him actually work on a solo video before. All I know is that my collabs with him, we've done together. Sometimes I have other people edit those. He always has other people edit those, as far as I'm aware. But, like, when Clyde was saying that, like, Seth hasn't written any of his scripts, or I don't know if that's exactly what Clyde said, but that Seth didn't write most of his scripts, as far as I'm aware, that's true. So, like, anyway, the actual thing that I wanted to play for you guys is this.
At the very least, you know, if Clyde really... Look, if Clyde really doesn't want to interact with me because it's very stressful, he thinks I'm going to get mad at him or Kyoka him, and he's worried about my life, and you know he doesn't believe I'm a pedophile, okay? Everyone knows that. Just tell him to vouch for me on the pedophile thing. That's it. That's all I want.
Right.
And then I can live. I won't have to bother him. Right? It's completely honest because he doesn't believe I'm a pedophile.
Not true, by the way. But you guys get the point, right? Like, if Clyde cares about my life, if he wants me to live, like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, the Kyoka him thing, like, he keeps, like, saying, look, I'm not Aizen, I don't know why you guys think I'm Aizen. And I try to believe him. I'm just like, okay, man, sure, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And then he does this type of shit, bro. Like, there's so much more too that I can play, but I don't want to because I want to keep Seth's private life private, right? I really, bro, I would have kept this to myself and just bottled up this rage at being like lied to, used and manipulated forever till the end of time. I only would have told like my close friends and shit. If not for the fact that Seth made it clear that he's trying to work on a response video, and he's already established that he's willing to like use me, use Clyde, all these fucking people in order to make his response more credible. So like, yeah, he's probably gonna lie about me and shit, bro. So I just wanted to get like, I wanted to let everybody know, bro, like, take whatever he says with a grain of salt, man. Like, like bro, the thing that I was so concerned about was him going in and just being like, yeah, all these people abandoned me at my darkest hour. I was suicidal and they didn't care. When it's like, bro, that couldn't be further from the fucking truth. Like, oh my God. You have no idea. Again, I was relieved, but I was so mad when I got off the phone with that police officer. Another thing, by the way, now I don't know if this is true. This is only speculation, but here, let me finish these gushers real quick. The chewing? Yeah, I'm sorry. Hold on. You guys gotta get ready for this, though. Sorry, it's taking longer than I thought. So, when Seth told me that he actually did attempt suicide, because he tried to tell me that to get me to take him more seriously, and it worked, admittedly, but he told me, first of all, that he'd gone to the psych ward. So the story that he gave me was that he attempted to commit suicide, called the cops so that they could come find his body, and the cops kind of talked him out of it and scared him. There were a bit of discrepancies between that story and what he told other people. Like, he told other people that he had second thoughts in advance anyway, that the cops didn't really have anything to do with that. But he told me that the lady on the phone was like, she was like scaring him, like, what if you get paralyzed, that type of thing. That's not a huge discrepancy, but, it was just like worth noting, right? So he tells me this, and then he tells me that the cops got him, restrained him, hauled him off to the psych ward, and that he was at the psych ward for 4 days. He told me this on the 12th, and 4 days before the 12th would have been the 8th. But as you guys know, I called his local police department. I know his full name, his address, all that shit. I'm not going to dox him. Don't worry. But, like, if it comes down to it, like, I do, like Seth would, like, at the very least, that is one thing that I know for a fact that Seth is not going to fight me on. He'll just be like, yes, no, Swag does know my name. So, I got the name, address, I gave it to them. And, like I said, they told me that they checked on him on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. I called them on the 8th, and then I called them again on the 10th, and they told me they checked on him on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I also called them on the 10th, and they said that those were the only calls that they got, which is really weird. So it's like, okay, there are a whole lot of things that are weird about this, right? Like, I'll get to the point first, and then I list the reasons why I think this. So what I think is possible, and I'm not saying that this is 100% true, right? Like, I want to take, like, the mental health shit seriously. I really don't want to be an asshole who's just like, yeah, you're probably just lying, because, that's fucked up. But I think that he did go to a psych ward because he showed a receipt that, like, he'd actually been at, like, this mental hospital for a few days to somebody. But I think that he was self-admitted. He did not actually try to kill himself. He did not call the cops, and they did not haul him off there, because the police officer that I spoke to did not make any allusion to that. I called him on the 10th, which is after he would have been admitted. The receipt that he showed this person showed that he was admitted on the 9th, and he got discharged on the morning of the 12th. That's 3 days, right? It would be 4 days if he went through the entirety of the 12th, but he didn't. So that's another thing. He told me 4 days. The receipt he showed to somebody else implied 3 days. And anyway, the 9th is still before the 10th, which is when I called the police. And they told me that the last call they got about it was on the 8th, right? And they said that there was no reason to be concerned and that they could do another wellness check for him on that day, that being the 10th. If the police had hauled him off to the goddamn psych ward, they, like, she wouldn't have told me that. Surely, right? She would have been like, yeah, there was a final call on the 9th. I don't know if they would have told me that he placed himself or whatever, but they would have been like, yeah, he's probably like in, intensive mental health care, like whatever the fuck, right? Like, they wouldn't have just told me that he was fine. And here, let me see if I can find the recording. I didn't record the whole call because I didn't expect it to turn into this. Like, I made that call just like because I was like genuinely concerned from the bottom of my heart. So I don't have the part where she says like the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, but I did say at the end, so you guys made contact with him on 4 different days, and then she was like, yep. And or like you guys were called out there 4 different days, and she was like, yep, we made contact with him every time. And again, this was on the 10th. Maybe I'll make another call just to like super confirm this. I'm not saying that this definitely is true and that he definitely lied about calling the cops and going to the psych ward via a cop car or something. I'm just saying that the story is really weird. So, like, it's just like, I don't know what to believe and whatnot. Here, let me play the recording. It's going to sound really, like, scuffed and, like, boofy because I'm playing it from my phone. And it was like, it's already kind of like a recording of me talking and like so the quality is probably gonna be bad. It's not on my PC because it's like an iPhone recording that I had Alyssa record, but here. Okay, so thank you for letting me know that he's fine though. So you said you made 4 different checks?
Yes, 4 days in a row.
Okay.
And they made contact with him every time.
Okay. I don't know if you guys understood what she said there, but she said we made contact with him every time. That it did sound kind of, like that was 144p video audio, right? Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry if, kids took up too much time or whatever. I've just been worried about him for a while.
You're definitely fine. I understand. I fully understand, and it's okay for you to contact us and ask for that. We just want to make sure that he's okay. But I apologize they didn't contact you because that would have saved your call today.
It's okay. No, I understand. I'm pretty sure that it's based on this is me walking away, so that's why I sound more distant because I was just pacing together my thoughts. Okay. Well.
But we do. So I mean, if a new situation happens, we do want you to call us back, though. Okay?
Okay, we'll do. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I don't still have contact with him, so if something. And yeah, this call was when I made before he and I started talking because it was before he got out of the hospital. So he'll probably be fine. Here, I'll go ahead and pause the recording because that was pretty much the end of it. So yeah, I don't even know if he was telling the truth about that. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's like, Gushers, bro, what do you mean? Sour Gushers are fire. Come on. Oh, sorry. Now, no offense, Swag, but when you talk over the clip, it gets hard to hear. Yeah, sorry. I was just trying to give context for everything so everybody understood. But you guys got the point of the clip, right? What date was this called? It was the 10th. He got out on the 12th. Told me that he stayed there for 4 days and that the police hauled him there, which would have been on the 8th, which was one of the days that the cops made contact with him, but also showed a receipt that showed him in the hospital starting on the 9th. So what I think is that he just self-admitted, said yeah. He also sent me a list of his calls, and one of them was it wasn't 911, it was the suicide prevention hotline. So I think he called them to get referred, but it wasn't the cops. But again, I don't know. He could be telling the truth. I'm just saying a bunch of reasons why it's a little bit fishy. But Gushers hard carried middle school, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, like I said, figured I would just get all this out there in case he tries to say anything in the future that, you know, like would conflict with this or conflict with the truth, I guess, right? But like in case it wasn't already clear, I'm completely done with Seth. I'm never interacting with him like ever again. Like no matter what. At first it was like well, you know, if he goes and gets help and genuinely improves, becomes a better person, you know, maybe I would consider like forgiving it. But it's just like, no, dude, he's like, the guy's psychotic. He's a complete like sociopath. He's not above doing anything, right? Like he doesn't consider any manipulation tactic beneath him, and it sucks. Like it felt so bad to be taken advantage of after being stressed out for that long about his well-being. I guess another thing I wanted to do is like if anybody has any questions, so that I don't have to like spend the whole rest of my career like answering them. You know, I can try to do like a question block now. Let me go ahead and take a look at all of the super chats, since I don't want to ignore all of these. Okay, Burnt Toast with 140 Czar. You're amazing. Thank you. $50 from King Dynasty. Hey, Swag, just got on the stream. Here's to a positive 2023, man. Yeah, I really hope the rest of the year can be positive, bro, because this was one of the most stressful weeks of my life. Pax Bella, $20. Swag, I just want to make sure you're doing okay in this trying time. Are you good? Yeah, I'll be fine. The worst of it's behind me. I was really stressed out for those first 2 days where I thought like he might be dead. I was like I said, like, bro, I felt like almost like physically sick, you know, but I'm good now. And then Angel with $50, first big donation ever. Just wanted to support you in any way I can. I appreciate it. You didn't have to drop the $50 though. You know, but thank you. I do genuinely appreciate it. But yeah, so hi Swag, how's your day today? Fine. I'm stressed out. Like I wasn't looking forward to doing this stream. If you don't get consent from other caller in certain states, it's considered illegal, and you just played the audio on stream, bro. Well, so first of all, it's not illegal where I live.